That's your cue.
I'm St. Jimmy.
Thank you.
On DVD.
Sorry, I forgot the cue.
I thought we were trying to go octave lower as we went. It was difficult. Didn't work very well.
Our fake sponsor this week is Facebook. Find your alien friends and keep updated with them.
I'm friends with Joe Human.
Is he an alien?
He claims he's not, but his name is Joe Human.
That's what I would call myself if I was an alien.
A little spot on, don't you think?
Wouldn't you call yourself Jimmy Human?
Yeah.
Is he human?
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 Um,
Do you need a plug-in?
Do you have one?
Do you have your cord, or
I don't have the cord with me.
no? I don't know if you have the same.
all right, so back to the podcast. You can get herpes, but can you just get one? Like herpes?
Yeah, but your immune system would overwhelm it really quickly.
Oh, good. Okay.
That's Hades' lesser known younger brother.
Herpes? What is he the god of?
Hey, wasn't there a movie
Herpes.
called Herpes Goes Bananas?
No.
I'm not gonna eat bananas anymore. It's Herbie.
Oh, okay.
He's a Volkswagen. You leave that
Wasn't
show
there a
with
musician
like
named
bruises all over your
Herbie
arms.
Hancock?
Herbie.
Oh, Herbie. Oh,
I think Herbie Hancock was President Clinton's nickname.
oh no.
I think I'm immune anyways.
Please don't explain how you know that.
Cold
Okay.
sores that people get on their mouths are the
Herpes
herpes virus,
type B or something.
and I've never gotten it from my wife.
Never got it from my wife either.
But does she have cold sores?
I've never gotten it from your wife either, so.
I haven't
That's
tried.
probably good.
Alright, now that we've evolved, let's
Oh, remember that
Evolve.
Dinosaur Tim or whatever?
Time Master Tim.
Time Master Tim with the dinosaur that come down and smash you?
Yes.
It was great.
Okay.
Is that on the Commodore
Yes.
64?
Commodore 64
So I went canoeing this last weekend
Oh, I heard.
with my canoe.
with your canoe. And my daughter and my son.
Mm.
We canoed out to an island.
Or
It's like 2 miles as the crow flies.
is the boat rose?
Did
As the
you
boat
go?
rows.
Did your path deviate from the crow's flight?
I ended up
Yes.
to the crow's flight.
We had to deviate quite a bit because it was kind of windy and choppy.
It's actually really deep there.
Oh.
Do you know that? You
No.
canoed over stuff that's like 400 feet deep.
Whoa.
I figured it was deep.
So?
So my daughter, who was not rowing or paddling at all, just sitting in the middle,
She only does doggy paddle.
was scared out of her mind because of how choppy it was, and thought that we were going to capsize at any moment. So
You told her that
Fair.
that canoe has only been capsized once since I've had it, and that was on purpose.
no, but Joden, was trying to explain how that he could do all kinds of stuff and it not tip over, and that did not help situations.
Yeah.
He was trying to demonstrate how much we could actually tip without
That's
falling out.
Not a good idea.
No. So,
Especially not in that water. It's very cold.
yes. So we got
Which is weird, being a lake in Zimbabwe.
it was on the ocean. They have oceans
Near India.
in.
Zimbabwe.
Oh, we're making all kinds of noises today, aren't we?
What noise?
Maybe I'm having a stroke. I'm hearing random noises.
You're hearing burning toast?
Oh. That was almost the second spit take of the evening.
You're trying to drown me in root beer? My goodness.
All too easy.
All right. Now that I have root beer in my nose.
This is not orange soda.
Again.
Callback. 30-year callback.
Was it 30 years? I don't
No,
think
it's
so.
like 27.
And I'm sure the only person that would recognize that callback is not listening.
Why not?
Anyway, so it was choppy. We almost died multiple times.
Well,
You know, it's also choppy. Bruce Lee movies.
All right, while I recover, somebody else banter.
So I run into this interesting problem at work. I replaced my computer with a laptop, which I still plug my 2 monitors into, and I use my laptop monitor as well. So I have 3 monitors. Well, I've run into a problem for a while. AutoCAD would cause the display driver to crash. So all the screens would turn off. 3 seconds later, they'd turn all back on. It's kind of annoying since it did it every 5 minutes or so.
Oh.
And you think, okay, well, I was drawing 3-dimensionally, so that's kind of intense for the computer to try to do that.
Yeah.
I have had my display driver crash twice now, completely not recoverable without hard booting it because of Excel.
Wow.
Huh. I
And
usually
one was
only
a
draw in
small-
1 dimension.
It was just a small Excel file that didn't have much in it, and I highlighted Excel, was going to drag it, and it gone, which sucked because I had a document I've been writing for instructions for another project that completely was gone. And I lost 2.5 hours of writing.
It's
That
called
sucks.
saving.
I've been doing
Save
more of that
often.
recently.
I save all the time.
It would be helpful if they would let you access the part of the program where you could set an autosave file so that you can access it again, and not one that just doesn't exist or just goes into the ether.
Yeah.
Bye-bye!
My son wants me to make a t-shirt that says save the files. And has the little save icon.
You could have a little character.
Seems like I've seen that T-shirt.
No. That's not gonna happen. Peter files.
Oh.
That might be someone's nickname at work that my friend Ross gave me.
No, nice.
First name Peter.
Because he likes to file things?
Yes.
Oh.
Nobody's makes him uncomfortable.
Oh,
He
okay.
knows that. He's the one that gives unfortunate nicknames. So if you don't have a nickname, you should get one before he gives you one.
Should we ask what yours is?
I have one at work. It's the first part of our last name with the Y on the end.
Oh, so that counts as a...
Yeah, I had a pre-existing one. Because
Zimbabwe?
Yes.
That does not make any sense.
That's
You know
okay. Half of our podcast
I mean,
doesn't.
one of the guys he calls Oscopy.
Okay. Is his name Colin?
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
I see where
Yes,
you
it
guys
is.
with that.
So. Yeah, so Excel is killing my computer. So now every time I open it, I'm really nervous. I guess that should cause me to save other things
Before you open Excel?
before I open Excel. Which is weird, because you think that Windows and Excel would be able to talk together pretty well, because they're from the same company.
Meh.
Now, why does that have to do with the video driver? I don't get it.
I don't know.
It's probably because it's shared memory on the
It probably is. It's the
Just
laptop.
horrible.
Well, you need video to see the Excel spreadsheet, right?
And I would actually call and tell IT, but I don't know which one to call. And having 2 is really annoying because no matter which one I pick, it's the other one.
Right.
And sometimes they'll
So I
play.
had to call them both at the same time.
Sometimes they'll play volleyball with you. No, it's not me. No, it's definitely them.
Well, just
Tell them
don't,
this is why it's them.
just don't go to the volleyball court.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just spike it.
My laptop. I thought about it.
Yes. My laptop's broken.
I spiked it out the roof.
But because of the way our software is written to work, it automatically puts certain things in the upper left-hand corner of your leftmost screen. Let's have my laptop on the left. I couldn't see it because I'm old. So I made it so that one is my rightmost monitor, but it's still on the left.
Mm.
So to get to it, I have to go off
Tricksy.
the right side of my second monitor, and then it pops up over there.
How does that work for you?
Pretty good. Now I've gotten used to it. It freaks people. I also started putting my start bar on the side of my middle monitor, which is confusing people. Someone's like, well, just go to, where's your start bar?
Well, mine auto hides anyways. I used to have it on the left till I got the 3 monitor set up, but then it was on the left side of the middle one.
That's
So
why I like it.
It was hard to get to because
I like it because it's in the middle. Oh,
I
the
got
start
it.
I
bar.
know, but I would. Yours works because it
No, if it's
thinks
on the
the
bottom.
middle one is the left one.
Yeah.
But my middle one is the middle one. If that makes sense. But I might do that where I put the laptop on the right because I hate everything popping up on the laptop screen after
It's so
dragging.
tiny, I can't see it.
Well, I just keep my email and my Windows Explorer up on my laptop screen.
It's a bit cutesy over here. It's like,
What?
Well, I don't read my email in the email. When I double click an email to open it, it pops up on my right screen so I can read it. So it's not like I'm trying to read anything on the
Man, it must be tough having 3 monitors.
It is.
I just usually put like my Stitcher on that one,
Oh.
or YouTube if I'm listening to Dr. Jordan Peterson videos.
Hmm. All right, let's go on to nerdiculture.
All right. I thought we would talk about memory.
I think we already talked
Did you
about
tell
this.
us that? Or
We talked about this last week. Don't you remember?
I don't remember that.
Good.
And we
Um,
discuss it some more.
No, we didn't talk. I was just making a joke.
I know. We
got
can't remember
words.
the next line.
Weird.
Specifically, I want to talk about memory conformity.
Okay.
So you take your hard drive and you format it,
Yeah, sure.
or defrag.
No, it's you want to defrag your memory.
You need to do that after you stick your grenade in your mouth. Defrag.
I get it.
Frag grenade.
Okay.
Not funny.
All right.
So, I wanted to talk about how our memories are influenced by other
Ooh.
people.
Oh.
So, there's a couple types of influence. I did some research on this.
Say Jimmy's trying to keep that from happening.
Well, I'll get to that, and why
Okay.
St. Jimmy is pretty good at keeping his memories fresh and pure.
By not interacting with people.
Yes.
I don't want memory contamination.
So
Sorry,
there's something
can't talk
called
to you.
normative influence, and that's where your memories can be influenced by
Postman.
you wanting to conform to social norms and stuff.
Sounds hard.
They've shown with studies that social interactions can alter your memories. Like specifically, if you have an eyewitness, if you have eyewitnesses to some event, and they have a chance to converse about it among themselves before you ask them questions about it, they will often change. Their memories will often not be correct of what happened.
Okay, I saw a show where they demonstrated this. They
Yes.
had people watch a stunt driver drive a car and then put it into a kind of drift, but then it hit a parked car.
Uh-huh.
And half the people he asked, how fast do you think the car was going when it bumped the other car? And the other half he said, how fast do you think the car was going when it slammed into the other car? And the people that he asked slammed guessed it was going like 35 or 40 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that he asked bumped into the car were like, 5 miles an hour. So just the way he asked the question made their memory different. It was actually 120 miles an hour. No,
Did you guys read
I
it?
don't remember what
There's
it
a
was.
Dilbert blog, or the Scott
Scott
Adams
Adams.
blog,
Yes.
talking about
Can we just shorten it to Scatums?
Scatums? Okay.
Scatums.
Thanks. That's way more efficient.
He's talking about, what was it called?
Cognitive
Dissonance.
Yes.
Yeah. Where he wrote a comic that was about economic models, but he got people to totally not be able to see that are into climate change models by just mentioning climate change, even though he didn't refer. It wasn't the thing he was debunking in the comic, which was quite interesting.
Yeah. But getting around to St. Jimmy here, people that use social avoidance in their life are not as influenced by social interactions,
I knew there was a good reason for that.
so their memories are not as easily disrupted by interacting socially with other people, because they don't interact as social often, as often as other people. Another one is they really don't care what other people think.
I'd say that's accurate. And I don't care what you think about that.
What about people that think that everyone in their life is just
Hologram.
hologram or figment.
Computer program.
I think there's a word for that. Can't remember what it is though.
I don't have that.
You can also have your memories influenced by somebody that is that you trust or that you think has more information than you do.
Like when I tell my origin story with my wife, I trust her memory better than mine. So.
Oh, okay. So you defer to her memory even though yours may be more
Although
correct.
I counteract that by enjoying telling my version of memory from her.
It does have quite a few more.
Expletives?
No, Sasquatch.
It's also been shown that
More adverbs?
your memories can be influenced more strongly by someone you have a strong relationship with or somebody you know well because you tend to trust them more. And
Because they haven't killed you yet. You have no opportunity.
and then there's like an age factor too. For example, if we tell a story and our mom says no, it happened a different way, then we might defer to her because she was older when we were young. Because you don't remember
I
as
think I
well when
said
you're.
that exact thing recently on the show.
Yeah.
Your memories can also change when you have, you come to self-realization and you are more self-aware.
Hmm.
It kind of frames your past in a different light.
Okay.
Like me thinking that me running off to move to Portland was romantic for years and years until like 2 years ago, and I thought, what a bonehead decision. What did my parents let me do that? There must have been scratching heads looking at me like, what would he? How
Didn't
stupid
you
is
come to that
report?
realization when you were on the Passersby podcast?
It was actually prepping for
For that?
speaking in church,
Oh, okay.
which was the same topic as I was prepping for a passersby,
Yeah.
and I related that information that I gained in my new self-awareness. And I'm changing how I'm thinking about things now just by listening to psychology stuff. I think about psychology.
What I've heard is that every time you remember something, you're actually rewriting that memory. So if the next time you remember it, you're actually remembering the memory.
So it's like that game we like to play, the
God of War.
Telestration.
illustrations.
Yes.
Yes,
Kind
Agent.
of
Yeah, it's just like God
Kinda
of
like
War.
both. It's a mix.
God of illustrations.
It's like
Yeah.
Telestrations.
War.
I'm sorry, that was the first
War
game that came to
illustrations.
mind. Why is my name in a smaller font?
Uh-oh, you're on to us.
You figured it out.
There. Sorry, it looked weird.
Some other things that can affect your memory is if you
Blood
have
force trauma.
Concussions.
besides that, if you have a photograph of when you were a kid, you're more
I've
likely
seen
to.
Butterfly Effect.
Oh yeah, I haven't.
I don't remember seeing it.
But some of your memories that you may not have remembered otherwise, if you have a photo of the event, then you can kind of, even if you're just imagining what the memory would have been about. I mean, it's not saying it'd be 100% accurate, but
So I have this theory that growing up, you guys both have good vision, right? Like per 20/20.
sure.
Or did it growing up?
Yes.
And
That
I've
was
always
a
had
correct
the feeling
statement.
you guys have a more photographic memory than me. But I think
Okay.
that I also have a photographic memory, but because I am
Oh,
vision
your
impairment,
photographs are blurry.
I can always picture where on the page of my textbook the information would be. I
Right.
just couldn't see it because it was fuzzy.
Ah. Interesting.
I think it's also affected some of my hand-eye coordination skills. Like I love to play golf, but I have a really difficult time playing golf, and it's because when I formed my in my formative years, I didn't have good vision. I think I might have thrown stuff off. So I didn't get vision correction until I was 16.
Oh.
Almost 17.
I don't have any vision correction. Although I'm thinking about getting,
Reading glasses?
the opposite, driving glasses, so I can see signs from further away.
Oh, I
Because
think
that is degraded.
my vision is degraded when it comes to like low light conditions.
So that
Like
doesn't
let's
bother
say
me.
behind your entertainment center, where you have all black equipment with like dark gray lettering. You're like, why would you do that? I think
Yeah.
you're a kid. What does this one say?
Yeah, my coworker that's older than us, he says he has flashlights stashed all over his house because he can't
Let's be
see.
more efficient and call them corkers.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
We're just gonna pull letters out of the middle of names now. Words.
We're
That's
just
right,
gonna call
Lowell.
them nays.
Oh, that is so rude.
And Simmy.
Diddy.
Or Smee.
Me.
Another thing is if you write down things shortly after they happen, and you go back and read it later on, it'll help you remember what happened, especially if you include like kind of details that really don't make a difference, but they can cue your brain to call up some of those memories that you might not have
I had
remembered
that happen.
otherwise.
I was cleaning
Yeah.
out my garage and I found a box of old stuff of mine. I pulled it out and there's some old stuff from like second grade, third grade maybe. I think it's third grade.
Whoa.
And I pulled out the story I'd written, which was actually my memories of interacting with this bully we knew in
Oh.
California, Jason.
Voorhees.
What?
Buddy.
Go ahead.
Oh, we can shorten it John if you want.
No.
Anyway, there's a situation where we somehow got over to his house, and he convinced me that we should climb up the side of his carport and jump on these cardboard boxes.
Right.
And when I tried it, I wrote in my paper that he had tripped me, even though I remembered that I had just like caught my foot
Oh, okay.
and fell face first from about 6 feet up on the concrete.
Yes.
And I told my mom that I fell out of a tree because I was afraid I was going to get in trouble for some reason. But I wrote, and it popped back memories like
I
that.
actually remember walking home with you
Very clear.
after that.
After reading that story, that was only took 2 years after that incident happened, is when I wrote that, as opposed to 34 years or something.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting.
The other thing with old memories is they can be affected by what I call the fishtail syndrome.
I caught a fish this big.
Yeah, where you tell the story so many times that, and you embellish it each time, kind of like our dad does,
Yes.
that it gets to a point where
It's not true
your
anymore.
memory is not
Because you're
exactly
remembering
it's
the last
lying.
time you told it.
Yeah, you're remembering all the embellishments from the story.
Like when I remember fishing with my father-in-law, the biggest fish we caught was smaller than our bait. And the fish kept on getting smaller and smaller that we caught.
Yeah.
It's microscopic. We actually caught a germ with our
bait.
bait.
Imagine the fillets you get off of that germ.
That's not germane to this.
Filet mignon.
Anyway,
Enginerdy show does not condone eating germs.
I don't think you
Don't
can help
lick
it.
your
Think
kid's
there's-
face when they got a snotty nose.
That's not the only place germs reside.
Yeah, that's not the only germ vector.
Let's just stick with that though.
Okay.
They're all over me. They're inside of me.
All right, that's nerdy culture.
Hey, they're the monkeys.
No, totally different.
Hey, they're bacteria.
So if you actually had the ability to shrink down a vessel to put inside somebody, how long before you used it as a capital punishment method?
A couple days.
So I thought you shouldn't do that.
All right, for Technerdy, we're going to talk about the HomePod. It's a new,
Whale method of living.
well, it's a new device from Apple, and it's interesting. I actually read that they were coming out with this thing a little while back, but
I misread that. I thought it said Ho Meepod.
they were. The article I read
Couple of
before
hoods.
was speculation on how it was going to compare to the Google Home thing and the Amazon Echo,
Oh,
because
one
that
of those
type of
things.
device. So,
It's going to have a more mechanical voice and not have natural information.
well, it's interesting. Some of the features of this, it's basically a home speaker system, and it has. This isn't new to home speakers, but it can scan the room and modulate the sound so it sounds better in that room.
Oh, my.
It can tell how big the room is and what shape the ceiling and stuff like that. Which isn't new. Another thing, it will link to your iPhone and stuff. It does have a version of Siri on it. That's pretty much the only good parts of it. Overall, it doesn't look like that good of a system
So
unless you're really
I'm not-
dedicated to Apple.
See, I'm not really into Apple, but I can
I
still.
prefer pairs.
I can even recognize that they were forward thinking and got into stuff early.
Yeah, this is kind
This
of the
is
opposite.
kind of feeling like Nintendo.
So, some of the drawbacks are
Just that they can't compete with Xbox and PlayStation. They finally figured that out.
So then they change the focus of their.
They're on a sine versus cosine wave with PlayStation or Xbox now as far as release dates. So
Right.
they don't have to compete with other two superior systems.
well, they've changed their marketing to its different group of people. Okay, but Apple, their HomePod, it has a limited version of Siri, so it can do basic things like set a timer, or
Tell jokes.
I don't think it can even do that.
Oh,
I think Alexa can.
Um,
Sorry if I just made your Alexa go up.
Alexa. Alexa, order 30. Sorry.
the HomePod only plays iTunes.
Alexa, play show tunes from Pandora.
It
Yes. You have to tell it because it asks.
oh. So this HomePod costs $350 US.
You know how much my Alexa costs?
350 yen.
$30.
Wow.
It doesn't have the big speaker, it's just the small part, but
Right.
still.
Yeah, so this
I-
is
I'm
not
trying not to-
looking like
I'm trying not to feel giddy over here, actually.
some of the drawbacks is it doesn't have any third-party applications you can put on it to make it better.
How's that different than other Apple products?
Maybe that'll come out in the future, but it's kind of, I don't know. I couldn't really see much plus side to this thing. Maybe it'll be upgradable, or the next version will be better, but
Well, they have to make the next version just slightly better, so you have to scrap
Right.
your previous $350 and
yeah.
buy the new $450 one.
So basically, don't waste your money on this unless you're just like so into Apple that you have to buy everything that they come out with. If you want a home speaker that does pretty much the same thing and probably sounds better and is cheaper, there's like Sonos. There's
I just made a connection.
uh-oh.
I realized I was allergic to apples, but at the same time that I realized I didn't like apple. Does that mean it could be psychosomatic?
It could be.
It is. Maybe you just think you remember that you're allergic to apples.
I test occasionally, and it's a rather unfortunate test.
Oh.
You're supposed to eat them.
Yeah, you don't have
Oh, that was
your
one
kid-
rubbing on my belly.
This doesn't make me feel very good.
have your kid throw it at your head as hard as they can.
Have the mouth open. Does that help?
Every time I test it, it hurts more and more. I think the kid's getting stronger.
So what I would want in a home speaker thing like this would just be the full. It's probably exactly what Amazon or Google.
I think I
does.
would just get a butler.
Be able to. Well, I've been
Hey,
using
Mr.
my
Belvedere.
I've been using my assistant on my phone, my Google phone assistant more lately to like set timers or just ask.
I do that all the
Like-
time.
Show me a picture of a chinchilla. That was the other night at home because the kids didn't know what it was.
Show me a picture of a chimichanga.
Well,
All right, pictures for a chimichanga.
we were talking about
Tasty.
tortillas, and I said, well, it's better to put this in a tortilla than in a
Tortuga?
no, what
Oh.
that animal I just said,
Chinchilla?
chinchilla.
Which
And
way are
they're
you
like-
putting it in there?
They're like, what is that?
Are you feeding it to it, or are you?
No, we're putting the chinchilla in. Oh,
We are on video, DVD. Please watch your hand
I think
gestures.
that was lower than the video.
Okay.
hopefully.
I can only see half my face. This
So,
Yeah.
there he goes again.
Quit mugging for the
What
camera.
camera?
It's true, you do that all the time. Anyways, so
Well, thank you. I've really enjoyed this article.
don't go buy the HomePod.
I
Get
won't.
an Amazon Echo
They can at least make it look like shaped like a
or
whale.
Google Home. So which one should I get? Should I get Amazon Echo or Google
Oh,
Home?
they should make it shaped like an apple.
For $30, you can try out the Echo
Echo Dot.
Dot. It's the same as the Echo, other Echo, it just doesn't have the big speaker.
Oh,
Then you're out $30 if you want to upgrade to get the new one. Or if you go Google, you got to go all the way
how much is the Google?
more. I don't know. Let's see. What's it called?
Just say how much is the Google.
How much is the Google?
Here's a summary from TechRadar.
That's $85.
Version costs
Oh.
$769 a
That's still not too bad.
If you want the extra space of the 128
Oh, the wireless one is
you have to
$120.
pay $869.
What?
Are you trying to extort us?
Oh, that's a Google Pixel phone.
So what's the difference between the Home and the Echo?
I was actually with our dad when he watched a YouTube video explaining
What the difference
exact
is?
detail was.
'Cause I like both those companies.
We have the Amazon one.
Right.
It does most things well. You can link it to your Pandora account, link it to your Stitcher, not Stitcher.
But can it answer your door for
Oh,
you?
you know, I do use.
You can link
But
it
can
to
you get, like-
Spotify.
Can you get like the Amazon Music app on the Google one?
I don't know.
Because that's where I listen to most of my music.
You can actually have it add stuff to your grocery list.
I don't know that I would ever do that.
Like it set a timer. Or like I do, pretty much the only thing I say to it is, Alexa,
By
play.
30
No, I say
pounds.
play the Mariah Carey from Pandora station,
Oh,
and then it plays it.
I might try that.
Usually
I'll
I'm
go
making
and
food.
see.
This is in our kitchen.
I'll probably just start with the cheaper one.
Alexa, transfer $300 to the Enginerdy show.
Hope you don't have a link to your.
Oh, sorry.
Was our dad? I think had one of the grandkids.
Yes.
Tried to order something, and before he could say anything, he asked if they were sure, and they said yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was there. He signed up for like a free trial of some music service
Yeah.
because he was asking it to play songs, and it said, "This song is only available on the whatever thing." And they're like, "Do you want to try
Sure.
a free trial for that?" And he's like, "Yep."
That's funny.
And Dad wasn't very happy with it. All right, that's Technerdy.
Excellent. You can also set it so that you can say what's the current news, and it'll read. You can set
Headlines.
what news station you want it to be linked to.
Oh, so like the Onion.
So like when I switched it, because I didn't know my wife was listening to her NPR in the morning, and I switched it to one that was just the first segment was about football.
Oh,
Oh.
She was rather upset. I wanted me to switch it.
that's funny.
So for the news, there is a gentleman that, after years of training and of mountain climbing, has become the first man to free climb without ropes. El Capitane.
Also without Spock and rocket boots?
Exactly.
Is that the cliff from
Yes.
Star Trek?
Yes.
Oh,
And he climbed it in 4 hours,
Wow.
which is crazy. A lot of people, he says, a lot of people have issues with someone climbing free like that without safety.
Oh, you think?
He's like, but if you understand how much effort and training and how much skill I have, then it's not as dangerous as someone climbing with ropes that's not as experienced. So it's definitely impressive.
yeah.
Some people take a long time to climb it, but it's a very, very,
Yeah, I've been at it for
because he went so
35
far
years
as
and haven't reached the
climbing
top.
it a lot, and then he has to memorize where each finger or handhold is. That's why he's so quick at
So he
it.
climbed it with ropes to memorize the
Several
mountain?
times.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And that's how he did it in 4 hours too. If you know exactly where all your handholds go, you
Yeah.
can get up
Yeah.
there a lot quicker.
Have you climbed like rock walls at?
Yeah, I've tried. I can get like 6 feet off the ground, and then I realized really quickly that my finger grip or strength is not as.
Doesn't
not
hold
up to
up
the-
to your weight?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did it once against my brother-in-law, and I got to the top really quickly.
Hmm.
I guess I'm
Maybe you should do El
Decent
Capitan
at it.
next.
You're just trying to get rid of me, aren't you?
No, wait, was it? Kirk was climbing it free too, wasn't he?
Yes.
No ropes or anything.
No. All he had was a backup Spock and
He's
rocket
probably
boots.
3/4 of the way up.
Yeah, but this
And he
guy
did that in
it
20
way
minutes.
before
I mean, it was Kirk.
Kirk did.
Yeah, by Kirk's time, lots of people had done it.
Right, that's true. So, anyways, I thought that was really cool. What's the
is
guy's
cool.
name? Go to the top.
Honnold.
His name is. I want to give him some credit here.
Alex Honnold.
Alex Honnold. Looks very happy. But I couldn't even stand. I mean, just looking at that picture. Just a picture of him, National Geographic's picture, with him standing
Near
2
the
feet
edge.
from the cliff edge with his back to it.
Yeah.
What if that cliff edge reaches out and grabs him? Like pulls him down onto the ground.
What if a bird like drops something on
What
his
if he
face?
fell down and crushed Spock's marshmallows?
Maybe, what if he passes out or something?
I know, it just makes my brain go wonky. Just you can switch off it now.
We know you have an irrational fear of heights.
What
Is there irrational?
my wife has that same reaction if she sees on TV or something. So what we used to do is in
San Andreas.
San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, there's this mountain you can drive to the top of, and you
Yes.
can jump off a cliff and point the camera down so it follows you, and she would be
It
like,
makes,
ah!
it makes my stomach go a little bit. Also, there's a really tall building you can get to the top of. That's a
Oh, yeah.
helicopter up there. And then landed and got out and then jumped off. It took you like 15 seconds to hit the ground.
I would land a small plane up there and then try to take off again. It didn't always work very well. Anyways, yeah,
So-
that's cool.
That's the news.
Mountain climbing.
I thought it was pretty cool. And I justified it as nerdy because it's El Capitane.
Let's start.
Yeah, I knew you'd understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although it's probably the most panned of the Star Trek movies.
I really like 5. I'm sorry. I like
I think it's pretty
a
good. I mean, they meet a powerful alien at the end that
It's like
thinks
all
has godlike
half the
powers.
episodes
Like, yeah, that's
of
like
the original series.
all the original series episodes. He's probably friends with, is it Apollo? Is that the one that
Yeah.
left one of their
Yeah, they
crewmen
played
with?
bridge together.
London Bridge is always falling down.
All right, if you want to support the Enginerdy show, you
Get
can.
large ropes because we're large fellows.
No, we're not that large.
Program your Alexa to.
Yeah, does your Dot have a podcast app? You can listen to podcasts.
I'm sure that it does have one.
That'd be cool.
It's not Stitcher though.
Okay.
At least I couldn't get Stitcher to work with it.
So what you need to do is tell a friend about the
Spotify.
Enginerdy show.
You can use Spotify, right, for podcasts?
I don't know, but you can. If you have a friend that has an iPhone, you can download our show, subscribe to our show on their phone when they're not paying attention.
Oh,
smart.
that's a good idea.
And then try to log in, but incorrectly, so it locks it.
Yeah.
And do it several times. So
And
that's
if
what my
you're
kids
ever
do,
in
so-
San Francisco, get a big boombox and somehow figure out how to play our podcast through the boombox, and then maybe Spock will message you.
Hopefully,
that'd be awesome.
it'd have to be Zachary Quinto now, though.
Oh, that's true.
I hope they remake that one next.
I should draw a picture of a homie pod, which is a bunch of like old OG rappers like swimming with whales.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Our next segment is consumption. What have you been watching?
Well, I watched Doctor Strange again.
Oh, it's on Netflix now.
Is that
Yes.
the one with the guy riding the missile?
No, that's Doctor Strange Love.
Oh, okay.
No, this is Benedict Cumberbatch.
I know. I bought this one on Amazon Video, down and then
Right
on
before.
Netflix. And I'm like,
Yeah. Well, when it goes off of Netflix, you'll still be able to
that's
watch
true. I'll
it.
still have it.
I watched season 4, I think it was, of Sherlock.
Series 4.
Oh,
Yeah, series
we
4.
started watching it over from the beginning because we were like,
Yeah, my wife's doing that. She's halfway through the second series.
Now 4 has
I'm waiting for it
only
to catch
3
up.
episodes. Or is there only 4 on Netflix, or is there 5?
series.
There's 4.
It was the last one on Netflix that I
think
watched.
4 just came out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one I watched. It's kind of bizarre. There's only 3 episodes,
A lot of them are like that, right? All
Yeah.
the series are kind of short.
but it's more bizarre than the other
Oh,
series.
really?
So
Interesting.
At the end of watching all 3 episodes, I'm like, what did I just watch? It's so strange. Anyway, which is funny since he was Doctor Strange in.
Oh,
It's
weird.
Anyway,
it's a crossover.
yes. I watched a movie with Halle Berry in it called Catwoman.
Oh,
I watched it
yeah.
with my daughter.
That didn't
And-
get very good reviews by the.
It wasn't real great.
I watched it.
Every cat cliche in the book you could think of, they
Was there
throw in there
7 lives?
somehow.
9 lives.
Everything.
Did she sleep in the litter box?
They
I don't know if
can't
that's a
sleep in the
cliche.
litter box.
Yeah, they don't sleep in the litter box.
That's not what the litter box
Maybe I can
is
actually
for.
pet cats in. I think they're really gross.
They
Well,
are.
I'm not saying they're not really gross. They lick themselves a lot. So,
So does DVD.
I don't lick cats very often.
do you get hairballs?
If I can reach my back, I could.
Anyway,
I'm not that flexible.
The inside of your arm.
That is very hairy.
It's from all the licking.
Does that cause hair
okay.
growth?
Anyway,
I don't know.
I finished a book.
Couldn't wait.
You finished a book. Is that
And-
the first one?
I finished. No, it's the second in a series.
Well, it did say 3 to 5 years on it.
It's called Trident's Forge, and it's the book that takes place right after the Ark, which was written by Patrick Tomlinson, I think his name is.
No, I think
I
it's
thought
written
Moses
by,
wrote
yeah.
that.
And the Ark.
Called Genesis.
Oh goodness. So the Ark was about a generational ship that's leaving Earth to go settle this new planet.
Yeah, it's in the Bible.
And there's like a black hole that destroys Earth and everything.
Like,
Like rain.
But the first book, the Ark, which I mentioned before on the show.
I thought it was about welders.
No, it wasn't about arc welders. Oh, arc welding. It was basically a murder mystery on board a generational starship.
oh, I do remember you talking about it now.
And so the Trident's Forge is like a first contact novel, which takes place, I think, 5 years after they've made it to the planet that they were heading for, and they have interactions with an alien species there.
It's been 5 years on the planet to meet the locals.
Yes, they were on a different continent.
Oh.
Oh, usually when you're incontinent, you can find all.
Is there a bathroom I can use?
Anyway.
That should be the first thing you always figure out in a foreign language. Is how to ask where the bathroom is.
Donde está el baño?
Wo ist das Badezimmer? It's German
Oh, okay.
for where's the bathroom.
So,
Interesting.
I think the only complaint I have about the books, the
Read in
2 books
Spanish?
I've read, no,
The book was
is,
upside down.
it was all upside
I
down.
couldn't figure it out.
I had to teach myself to read upside down.
I've taught
I
myself to do
can
that.
read
actually.
upside down.
I can read upside down.
Anyway.
It's not hard.
It's just that most of the characters have the same comedic voice.
Oh, I have a problem with that.
In the same
You can
first
tell
name.
that the author is also a stand-up comedian
Oh,
because there's lots of jokes, and all the characters tell jokes that are very similar
you
thematically.
should just try to picture how George Lucas would tell a joke.
It's all knock-knock jokes.
No. But that's basically the only complaint I had.
It was too funny. Okay.
It's like joke, joke, joke. It's different characters telling the same kind of jokes.
Mom,
So you
if
gotta
I
get-
wanted to watch Gilmore Girls,
You always have to have one character you just like
Borrow
give
the
in, let
DVDs.
it be your comic voice. And then
Yeah, like in the book that I'm gonna be releasing soon, if I get my editors finished.
I'm
still
better
trying
part
to-
than you.
I've got
still trying to download it on my.
I've got the main character is very serious, doesn't joke. But I needed somebody to, make the jokes, so I made his best friend more like me, where he's cracking jokes all the time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say incontinent.
That's why I'm thinking of a vinyl chair.
That's why word depends.
You get me back into life?
And that depends.
So,
Okay, that's my. Go ahead.
I wonder if I could print your book off like 4 pages to a sheet.
You can try.
Do it.
How many pages would it make?
I don't know.
It's 160 pages, so
I guess
40
I could
pages.
find out pretty easily. Yeah.
40 pieces of paper. 20 papers you do back and
And my printer doesn't do double-sided.
That's my consumption.
Alright, we watched a film called Dig Two Graves. It has...
Oh, I thought it was Dig Two Gravies.
Has Mr. Magoo in it?
No, the guy in it... I
Bob
can't
Saget?
remember what he
Brad
was
Pitt.
from.
Michelle Rodriguez.
No.
Aubrey Plaza.
Ooh, Mariah Carey.
Oh, he's from Fast and the Furious.
I was close with Michelle
Oh, is
Rodriguez.
Ted Levine.
Levine?
Is in it.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Don't recognize him.
So it was interesting. I'm trying to think of how to describe it without just telling you the entire plot, but it has to do with... Oh, I guess it starts off with this teenage kid that...
He's digging your grave.
No, he drowns in a quarry lake, basically.
Yeah,
Well, then his sister makes a deal with these
Did Dunkerton get it?
gypsies to sacrifice another kid, and that will bring her brother back to life.
That never ends well.
But then there's also some history between her dad, her grandpa, who's played by Ted Levine, and the gypsies. Her grandpa is a sheriff, and some stuff went down back in the day that had to do with the gypsies' parents, and so they're trying to get back at them.
Did they shoot the sheriff? Or
No,
not the deputy?
actually, let me think. Yes, they did shoot the sheriff, but not the deputy.
Excellent.
It was alright. I also watched Mr. Magoo with Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Oh, Leslie Nielsen came to your house?
Yeah, he watched it with me.
I thought he passed away.
Who did you push into a quarry to
Is
get
Leslie Nielsen
come back
dead?
alive?
Oh, I don't know.
Yes.
I thought he was.
He's dead.
Maybe it's
Really?
just a false memory.
Yes.
I don't believe you.
2014. Yep.
I'm looking it up.
2010. I was wrong.
He died 7 years ago.
What?
Yeah.
Well, he's still alive in my heart.
Is he one of those small little?
I had a transplant.
No, you got his heart, huh?
So Mr. Magoo, it's a live action version of the cartoon. It's about
With Leslie Nielsen.
this old guy
definitely
that
needed it.
can't see very well, and he gets into all these
So
hijinks.
let's make fun of the blind.
At the end, there's actually a note that came up that said, "Blind people, or this movie is not meant
that are
to
blind are
portray
people too."
blind people as less."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Say, we're sorry
As
that we
dangerous
anthropomorphize
or-
blind people.
yeah. It basically had a disclaimer saying, "We know
No
blind
blind
people
people are
are."
injured in the making of this
I
movie.
think it basically said, "Blind people aren't retarded," or something in nicer words.
Okay.
But it was all right for a kids movie. It was fine.
Okay.
I finished the Scott Sigler novel Pandemic. There were hardly any pandas in it though.
I don't think there's
Do they
any
have
over
any
there.
emmets?
It's the final book in the Infected trilogy, and it was pretty good.
You should call it PAX for short.
Sure. I listened to the audio version.
I've also listened to the audio version.
It was good. I liked it. It's about this alien satellite that is releasing different waves of like spores that create things, creatures, and each time it does a new generation, it makes it better. And this pandemic is about its final
Countdown.
thrust at trying to take over the Earth by turning people into different types of mutants. So it was pretty good. I liked it.
That's a good one.
And I watched a film that has Bruce Willis in it
I'm sorry.
and something Jane. What's that guy's name? That was the
Jane
Punisher?
Austen.
No, he's the Punisher. Something Jane.
Calamity Jane.
No, it's Bill Jane.
Billy Baldwin.
Jim Jane.
What's that? Thomas Jane.
Thomas Jane.
Tom Jane.
It's called Vice, and it's about this company that has created artificial intelligent robots
Vices?
that are part human. They look and think they're human.
But they have vices for hands.
Oh,
No.
this isn't one of the bad B-rated movies or B movies that.
It's so what they did. People freaked out, so they wouldn't let these rogue cyborgs into the normal population. So they're all isolated in this city called Vice, and the company that Bruce Willis runs lets people pay to visit the city, and they can do anything they want, including murder, rape, mayhem, because they're just killing these cyborgs, and then they fix the cyborgs up, reset their memory, so they live the same day over and over, and people can just go in there and commit crimes they can't commit in the real world.
So it's like one of those Japanese businesses where you can go in and just destroy stuff with like a hammer or a baseball bat.
Except
with
you're
people.
interacting with people that
What would the
look
psychology of that be?
and think that they're human. And Thomas Jane plays a guy that is he's a cop, and he really dislikes the Vice place because he thinks that it leads people to commit crimes in the real world.
Oh, you think?
And there's a glitch in one of the robots, and she remembers one of her previous days where she was murdered, and she escapes from Vice, and people are hunting her down and trying to kill her.
It's even psychologically shown that when you watch a movie, you actually overlay your emotions onto the emotions of the characters in the movie.
Is that why I sometimes hold my breath when people go underwater?
Right. It's like a ghost of their feelings on yours, but if you're actually acting out those feelings,
Right,
even though, especially in something that's not realistic,
right. You basically
you've done
murder
it. Yeah.
people that, for all intents and purposes, are real people, and then you go about your daily life, and it would be that much easier to.
Right.
Anyways, the movie was okay. It wasn't great. The acting, Bruce Willis, of course, did a really good job acting. Thomas Jane was hit and miss, and the rest of the main female character was actually pretty good, but most of the other characters were not great acting.
Is this on Netflix?
Yeah. So it was all right. The concept was really interesting, and the tech was pretty interesting.
I thought it was one of those movies that Bruce Willis has been in just for the paycheck, where he's not even interacting with the other characters, and he's like a separated figure, and he just has a few lines.
He was in it a lot more than that, but not much. I'm gonna have to put Vice in the movie.
Did they put him in it just so they got his name on the movie?
Possibly.
There's a lot of
Anybody else could have played his part. You know.
Mm-hmm. Like Die Hard. Just kidding.
No, more like Fifth Element.
What? You guys are making this.
Just kidding, Bruce. We love you.
I'm sorry.
Bruce Willis is one of my favorite actors.
I mean,
that's why
I do work all the time that I don't really care about and just do for the money.
In
So
fact,
how can I make fun of actors that do
if
that?
he hadn't been in this movie, I probably wouldn't have watched it. And
I've watched the movies that just had his name on it, and I realized really quickly that I got to be careful with newer Bruce Willis movies.
right. Yeah. Anyways.
He's always good in them. That's little part
Yeah, it's just the rest of the movie. You're like, ugh. All right. What do you?
I just have a few things.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I went camping last weekend, and since we couldn't get a fire going because the fire pit was dug so deep that no oxygen could get to the fire, we gave up and we just went in the tent and we watched Terminator Genesis on my wife's tablet.
Oh, is that
So we took
good?
turns holding it.
That's the newest one, right?
Yes.
That one's. I like
It's
that
really
one.
good.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite of them.
Does it matter if you haven't seen the other ones
Not
recently?
really.
Because it's on.
You probably don't have to have seen any of them, actually.
It's on Amazon Prime, but I haven't watched it because I'm like, man, I haven't seen.
It's good. It
You
explains
don't-
everything.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Okay, maybe I'll watch that with Mrs. Jimmy.
It's really good.
Yeah, I really liked it.
We watched the original one recently, and it's good. It holds up. It's
Well,
pretty
then you
Some of
should
that
be fine.
footage, will show up in this one.
good. I'm sold.
Kind of, it's really well done the way they do it. I mean, you get led down a path that quickly changes. It's really good. Then I watched a movie called BFG.
Big Friendly Giant.
That's right.
My kids have been watching that. I've seen bits and pieces of it.
It's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I
Yeah,
thought
the
it was
parts I
way
saw
better
looked
than I
pretty good.
thought it would be.
It's about a midget.
No,
Oh,
a giant
a small angry midget.
and an orphan girl
Oh.
and their friendship. Anyways, it's good.
So
I
it
watched it.
anthropomorphized orphans?
It did. Then I watched a movie called David and Goliath. It's on Netflix.
What is that about?
It's about the youngest son of a sheep herder or shepherd. No, sheep.
Sheep herd?
The guy that owns sheep.
Sheepman.
Farmer.
The rancher, maybe. But his
Sheep
youngest son
rancher.
is
Oh, they
the
call them
shepherd.
shrampers.
They had parts of the Bible as part of the commentary interspersed. Although when it talks about killing a lion that killed the sheep, it
It
hasn't.
was actually a cat.
No, these two guys that were
Oh.
They were born in July.
It was an interesting
They were
version
Leos.
of the David versus Goliath tale that took liberties that I'd never thought of.
Did he kill the Big Friendly
He
Giant?
did. The Big Friendly Giant wasn't so friendly.
David
It
and
was-
BFG.
It was a pretty good movie. It's not the best movie I've seen, but it was okay. Trying to think if there's anyone in it I recognized. I don't
Bruce
think
Willis.
so. Bruce Willis was in it? No, he wasn't.
He played the lion.
He was a sheep.
Maybe Samuel.
Samuel L. Jackson.
No, the prophet Samuel.
Oh,
I might have recognized the actor that played him. Maybe. I
Alright.
can't remember. Anyway, if you are Minecrafting and need something to occupy your time while you're doing that, check it out. It's on Netflix. We're not sure what reviews it would get. It actually was recommended
1
to me
star?
from Netflix.
Oh.
4 stars.
oh, wow.
And
Which-
what did you rate it?
It kept my interest. It had some good action parts. You could tell it was on a budget.
It doesn't even list the actors.
Was it
Nobody wants to be listed as being an actor in that film.
Really not. I can't even see any of them. That's funny. Scroll down. There's doesn't even have them on there. He had like a big part in it. It was
Oh,
Samuel.
I thought
right?
it said horse. Like, what? Who
Horse.
played the horse?
Horse.
There was a character named Christmas,
I don't remember that part.
and this is the David and Goliath story.
I don't think this is the same one.
This is 2015.
This isn't. That's the only that's the same one.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure actually.
I will do
Alright.
it.
We will look up and find.
Well,
That doesn't look. No, that's not it. I don't think that's it. Anyway,
Huh.
moving on.
You remember what's next on the
No, I
list?
don't.
Oh,
It's still on the list. Oh, I watched a movie called The Sandcastle, which is a Netflix original. It's about a soldier that signs up for the military, like a couple months before 9/11. So to pay for his college, and then it ends up in Iraq, and has a difficult time, but kind of comes around and finds himself in the war.
Huh.
It's pretty good. I could see parts of it. They were trying to maybe.
John Knox.
That's him. Yeah. Is that same one?
No, this is the 2016 David
Yes.
and Goliath.
This is the better one. I'm thinking.
Nobody plays a horse in this one.
No one plays horse or Christmas, which is good. There's a big part of it where they're training him to be a warrior, which I never thought of.
I thought you were going to train him to be a horse.
Exactly.
On Christmas.
So,
It's a Christmas miracle.
no, you can't do that, David. No.
Old Testament, whatever.
And then they build an ark.
Anyways, if you like war movies, this is a war movie. More modern.
I thought you were talking about David and Goliath again.
I was trying to move on from there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So, check out The Sandcastle. It's pretty good.
Alright.
I watched The Mask.
Want
Actually,
to share?
no.
Oh.
I should carry one.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
I want to show that one to my kids.
So I was at
I
Walmart
think you
with
might want to screen it
Zoc,
first,
I
or-
think, and we walked past we were walking towards electronics, and they had it closed for our safety.
Because electronics are dangerous.
Right. But they had the cheap Blu-ray bin, so we just happened to stop by. I looked. I grabbed the Dark Crystal, which I bought. And then they had two movies on one disc one. There was Dumb and Dumber and The Mask, so I bought that one. And then I watched Mask with two of my boys. Well, I watched it. They were on their phones, so they missed half of the physical comedy.
Yeah.
But I didn't. It was just as good as I remembered it. It's really funny. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it.
I saw it in the
What's
theater.
wrong with you? Me too. I really like the scene where they're doing the conga line. That's very funny.
I can't remember specifically.
We'll have to watch it.
Put down the cheese and get the keys.
It's funny. Trust me.
Ah,
I think it was the first role. What's her name had? Tall blonde lady.
Is that the one where he says smoking all the
Yes.
time?
okay. It
What's her
was
name? I can picture her. I can't think of her name. I think it was her first role.
I don't
My son
remember.
told me. The 94, not the TV series. No. Don't click on that. It's embarrassing.
her name is
Cameron Diaz.
Peter Riker.
No, that's not it. No, it was. I just said it. I can't remember what I said. Cameron Diaz.
Why is she not on here?
It's right there.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong column. Well, let's see what her first thing was. She was in Yo Gabba
That's the
Gabba.
top. That's
Oh, right at the bottom.
The Mask.
That was
Yeah.
the first one. Okay.
So my son was right. That was one of the things he's looking up on his phone, I think.
Oh.
Oh.
Kids can't watch stuff now without having more information than you need.
Well, I do that a lot too. I'll have to
Do the
look
whole
at
movie?
IMDb.
Nobody don't. I don't want to go to the theater with you then.
Well, I don't do it in the theater much.
I thought about going downstairs and getting a flashlight, walking behind me. Excuse me, sir. We can't have you have your cell phone out during the movie. Then I watched a really good documentary, actually, which, you know me, I like Sasquatch. And I learned a new word. It's called the unwanted Sasquatch. But it's not unwanted like something you don't want. It's WONTED, which means, wanted means typical and usual. So unwanted in this sense is unusual.
No, why didn't they just say unusual?
And the nice thing about this one compared to other
It's
Bigfoot,
not unusual to be Sasquatch to me.
Right. but this one was actually interviewing and talking to people that are
Sasquatch.
paleontologists and other professors that are in universities.
Oh.
And
Did
actually,
it have the guy from Footloose in it?
it didn't. But it did. From Harry Anderson's? That guy? John Lithgow? No, that's not in it. But at one point, they were, a couple of them, they're like, one segment they had was like, but our biggest problem is the Bigfoot community.
Oh.
And then they showed video of this 80s like talk show where they're talking about Sasquatch. And some guy raised his hand and said, well, you know that the Earth actually has 4 different overlaid worlds of different frequencies, and Bigfoot's from one of the other frequencies, but he has enemies. Some are bigger than Sasquatch would be, and some are smaller. But when he's about to be attacked, then he has the ability to phase out of that world into our world.
Wow.
They're making fun of those people, basically. It's like,
Yes.
That's the biggest problem we have with anyone taking any scientific research seriously on this. And Gigantopithecus that they keep on.
And then you have movies like Cry Wilderness that MSD3K made.
Right. Just also horrible.
Oh, yeah. I started
The
watching that.
part where he's like laying in bed and the thing puts outside, like,
Oh.
your dad's in trouble!
Right.
Oh, anyway, but it's nice to hear actual, more scientific people talking about it, and debunking some of the debunking that's happened. It's like every time someone comes out and claims to have done things, the media's like, "Oh, this is a solution. This is Bigfoot. This is why people think there's Bigfoot." Like this guy claimed that he had these foot molds that he was using all over the country, stomping around the woods to make footprints. But then they showed pictures of his wood foot molds, and they're like the most simplistic looking things. And these paleontologists are actually seeing impressions that show like a mid-bending foot, like you'd see in an ape or a chimpanzee, or humans. They use their entire foot when they're walking, and they use their toes more for grip instead of for grabbing things. So anyways, it's a very interesting. I would check it out. I've watched it on Amazon Prime Video. It's called Unwanted Sasquatch.
Hmm.
It's only like 103 minutes, I believe. So it's a short documentary, but it takes you through a lot of things. Like the one thing they talked about in there was National Geographic did. I think it was National Geographic. Anyways, some TV show put the money into actually doing photogrammetry of the Gimlin film, the really famous one of the bear walking by, where people claim that, that's only like someone that's 5'10", whatever. There's a guy that came out and said that he actually was in a suit and was that guy, even though the guy he claimed to get the suit from had conflicting stories with that guy. But they,
you know how memory works.
They did photogrammetry and said, yeah, that thing is stooped over like it is. It's about 7 feet tall, so it stood straight like about 8 feet tall, which a guy in a suit wouldn't be able to move like that. So watch it; it's good. Okay. I don't try to convince people there's Bigfoot, but I believe there could be a Gigantopithecus still alive. One of the things they talked about is when they first found Gigantopithecus's first jawbone. It was in China. It was quite a while ago, and they said, "Oh, well, he must have gone extinct around then." Well, then they found teeth and other things that were also Gigantopithecus. That, well, maybe he went extinct this time or this time. They keep on getting closer and closer to our time, based on evidence of actual physical bones and things.
Look at the bones.
The bones. Yes. So that's a good documentary. Then I watched a movie called War Machine. It has what's that actor that all the girls like?
Channing Tatum.
Brad Pitt.
Oh.
And he plays a general that was really successful in Iraq. I'm not sure if it's based off a real life general. I think this is a Netflix original also. But he is so successful that they take him and put him into Afghanistan to try to, he thinks, to win the war in Afghanistan, because that's what he thinks he can do. And it goes to him, and he has this whole team of guys that travel with him. There's executive team or whatever.
So it doesn't involve an Iron Man suit.
It does not.
Oh, darn.
It kind of revolves around him becoming disillusioned and him wanting to go in there to win the war, and the people that sent him there, which was the Obama presidency, sent him there to try to gracefully close out the war.
Oh, so he didn't go there thinking he was going to fight zombies.
No, he did not. But it was really good. It had, I don't know if their intent was to make an anti-war movie, or that's what the intent of the narrator was, but I kind of came away with a different feeling than that. So I thought it was a really good movie. So I watched that one, and then I bought and have now played for an hour and a half Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, is it good?
It's good so far. I've played all 3 of the characters. You basically can play 3 characters. The lives kind of intersect at different points, and you jump off into the other life. And at certain points, you can switch between characters that are in the same action scene.
Whoa.
So it starts with the bank robbery, and you can switch between the crew.
Interesting. I've been waiting to get that to get a PlayStation 4.
Car physics
nice.
are nice.
Huh.
I like them a lot. It felt very natural the way the cars drive, and very realistic. It does appear to be in the same map as San Andreas, but with way more detail.
Right. That's how Grand Theft Auto 4 was with Liberty City.
Right. So that's cool.
Cool.
Does have lots of bad language, not kid appropriate.
Yeah.
Just because of the language so far. The weirdest thing that happened is I was modern, I think.
Okay.
I was walking, trying to get a haircut, because that's one of the things it teaches you to do.
Right.
So I was walking to I just drove my car, that's right.
Oh, so you're saying there's adult situations in there too?
Yeah, getting haircuts.
Getting hurt.
So I flipped a U-turn and then parked my car really quick
And
and
you
got
got a
out.
ticket.
And someone was yelling at me on the sidewalk, but I thought they were yelling at somebody else because there's constantly people fighting. So I just walked past them into the thing, and I'm in there trying to figure out which button to push
to get your hair cut.
To get my hair cut, and this guy comes in and just hits me and knocks me on the ground and kicks me once. And I'd been in a gunfight earlier and had help. It killed me. I was like, what? I was just trying to get a haircut. One of the worst things they do is they put their little text in the upper thing that explains what you're supposed to do in the situation. While you're doing a car chase, every time I look up there, I crash into something. This is not helpful. So I went back to the haircut thing and saw somebody look like they're dressed in the same clothes, and so I exacted retribution. I don't think it was the same guy necessarily. I don't know.
Well, as close
It's
as
close enough.
NPCs.
It's pretty fun, but I play with it after the kids go to bed.
Right.
I didn't have it on my PlayStation shelf. I have it.
Yeah, I have my Grand Theft Auto game.
Yeah.
Stowed.
And then last I want to talk about, I've watched a bunch of psychology videos, and I know I've been talking about that for a while now. But I watched one, Dr. Jordan Peterson, where it was him for an hour lecture going through a children's book, talking about the psychology behind it. And the children's book basically is this kid is in his room, and this dragon shows up, a small cat-sized dragon. He pets it, and it's friendly. And he goes down, runs down, and tells his mom that there's a dragon in his room. She tells him there's no such thing as dragons. So he goes back up and just starts ignoring it. And as he ignores it, and his mom ignores it too, as it shows up and does different, like, getting worse situations.
Trying to get attention.
They're just ignoring it. It's growing. It's getting bigger. He eats all the pancakes except for one. It's like they're really only one pancake anyways.
Is it like that book we had when we were
Fish.
kids with the goldfish?
Yeah, kind of like that. At one point, the mom would clean the house, but it took her 10 times as long as she had to go in and out of windows because the dragon had gotten filled the entire hallway. It was blocking the middle of the house. And then at a certain point, the bread truck goes by, and it chases the bread truck. But it's gotten big enough at this point, the house is like on its back. With Tommy
so
and
the
his mom.
dragon represents
Things in your life that you ignore. Problems, you might
mental
say.
illness.
And then as soon as they pay attention to the dragon, it starts shrinking really fast. It ends up small like a cat again as soon as they recognize that it's there and take care of it. So in your own life, there's things that are dragons that, depending on your culture, like China, dragons are good things, you might say. But in like Western, like England, places like that, dragons were something you would go conquer. And dragons are something that had gold, so even though it's scary and could kill you, you get good things by conquering it.
Fame and fortune.
That's right. So if you just leave things in your life unfinished that you should be taken care of, they will come back or eventually get bigger and bigger until they really can affect your life. It's like, if you don't believe me, just stop paying your taxes. It's just a piece of paper they send you that says you have to pay taxes, but if you ignore that little piece of paper, eventually you'll go to prison. So it's very interesting, and I'd recommend trying to find that one on YouTube if you can. He's got thousands of videos on YouTube. But I like him a lot. He's a great psychologist. He's got me interested in psychology.
Cool. I nearly took I did take an intro to psych class, but I almost took a abnormal psychology class.
That would be interesting.
But it turned out not to fulfill the requirement, so I had to switch it for a psychology class, which was interesting but kind of worthless.
Well, he said that 95% of the people in his classes at
Philosophy
university,
class. Did I say philosophy?
No.
I had to take a philosophy class.
95% of the people in his class at university are women. They said 95% of the people watching his YouTube videos are men.
Huh.
I think I'm going to step out.
Okay.
I'd like a word.
Oh, dude.
If I can get out.
Just say the right one.
Alright.
Alright, our next segment is Nerd Cred, which DVD has lots of, and
I
Mr.
didn't
Paul doesn't.
fill anything in.
Okay, well,
I couldn't think of anything.
I was working on my pickup on Saturday, and it always happens. You drop a bolt,
Right.
and it doesn't hit the ground. It's stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wish I had a mirror, because I know if I had a mirror, I could just put it up, and I could look down and see exactly where this thing is.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I guess I have a cell phone with a camera. So I used the cell phone in selfie mode as kind of a mirror to find my bolt, and I found it.
Wow. That's
So
cool.
I was like, oh, that's kind of nerdy.
A different way to use that technology.
And
I just rubbed my face with mine.
my other nerd cred is my son has a Rubik's Cube,
Yeah.
and I've never solved one before, and I've even looked up online
Cheated.
how you do it, and it didn't
I
ever.
don't know if you could call it cheating if you never actually solved it.
It
using
didn't
that.
ever really make sense, but I was determined the other day that I was gonna solve it. So I
Threw it on the floor.
found this tutorial, and even with its step-by-step instructions, like it wouldn't work.
It's not as easy as you think it is, even need to use the instructions.
So
Well, I've dealt with engineers I work with that have gone in depth and know all the different moves. And like, oh, you do this move, and they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are cheating.
well, that's basically what it is. It tells you exactly like turn this way, then this, and gives you steps. And sometimes it's like 7 steps long, and you have to do it multiple times. But I finally got it. The directions were not sufficient enough information to get it. You had to actually figure out other stuff on your own.
There's
So-
places you can actually get the moves that it takes to move things properly. And
Well, yeah.
there's like
I guess the
memorized
instructions
algorithms you can do.
the instructions I had were somewhat lacking because I would get to a spot and be like, I would do exactly what it says, and it would mess the whole thing up, and I'd have to go back 2 steps and figure it out. But then, by going back and forth, I figured out, oh, if I do this, then that step will work better. So, anyways, I solved my first Rubik's Cube, even though it was with following internet instructions.
I
People
still
work
think
at-
that's cool, even if DVD doesn't.
My kids were impressed because they've never figured it out. But my son has a really good friend who can do that. He just picks it up and like
Oh, it's
does
like,
all the
it's like
algorithms.
playing the
and-
game Rock Band. You don't actually have to join a band, learn how to play the guitar.
No, but
Wish it
video games
did
are funner
teach
if you
you how
don't
to
look up
play
the
the
walkthrough and have it tell you exactly where to go to get all the secret things.
Right. You play it through first, and then you go. To
You
get
should
your
get
100%.
one. My favorite one to play with that I've never actually solved. I did get some of the stuff figured out was the decahedron one, like 10-sided. That might actually makes more sense to me than the.
I'm way too lazy.
I've used Excel to try to help me figure out how to solve a Sudoku Rubik's Cube. And that was,
That's nerdy.
Yeah.
Until it kills your video card.
my computer doesn't have that issue.
You need to call and complain. Tell them that they need to give me a aftermarket video card. It's like, you wanted the laptop.
Alright, what's your nerd cred?
Just bring your own.
So I killed a bird with my car the other morning.
That's
Aw.
nerdy.
No, but then my friend that carpools with us called me a burgerer, which is funny.
Bird herder?
A burger,
Burger.
like a murder
Oh,
from
burger.
birds.
Okay.
I said, well, if that's a large bird, it'd be a mass burger. Then I drew a picture of. We have software that automatically puts stuff into a database for you, and sometimes it adds an extra sheet on its own because it reformats stuff after you hit.
Oh yes, I know
So if
exactly what you're talking about.
So we have this thing where if it makes you a blank page, you have to draw a picture on it and then you put it on your wall. So I drew a picture of a mass burger, labeled it for him.
Something at work was just reminded us of this story. We have this hone, and it just has an open thing of hone oil. And one day a bird thought it was water maybe and landed in it and got covered in oil.
Yeah.
And
Lit it
so
on fire.
no, but the guy that
Look, it's a phoenix.
the foreman went to the building manager and was like, "What do I do with this bird? You know, it's like still alive, but it's obviously dying." And
Send a raccoon in after it.
they didn't know, so they're like, "Just put it outside." So he put it in a box. He was carrying it, headed outside, and this other guy, his boss, saw him, and he was expecting something that they'd ordered. And he was like, "Oh, it came!" And he's like, "Sure did." Hands it to him. And we were all out there when he did it, and he opens the flap, and there's this oily bird. It was a kingfisher or something, so a fairly large bird. And he throws the box, yells, and runs the other direction.
Oh my goodness.
It was so funny.
But
What
because
kind of monster
psychologically,
is this?
yeah, his brain didn't know what that
He was
was.
expecting these like fancy face masks to use when you're grinding, so that the grit doesn't
And then
get
there's
your
an
face.
oily bird in there instead.
And
This would be a horrible face shield.
He tries it on.
how are you supposed to use this thing?
It's really dark.
I'm getting oil on me.
But the bird didn't last very long.
It died.
Yeah.
Dude, that's what. Or
What about the
supposed to oil your
raccoon?
bird.
We did have a raccoon in our building. it climbed
In the building?
Yeah, it must have been going after like a crow's nest or something. Actual crows,
Like the
not
pirate
like what a
ship?
pirate uses. No, every year we get
Ahoy!
our bridge cranes in our building get shut down because the crows build their nests up there and then they attack the crane
The
operator.
black crows?
They're black.
Or the
yes.
counting crows?
Round here.
But one year when that was going on, there was a raccoon climbing way up there, and it's like 140 feet up in the air.
Did it splat when it hit the ground?
Did it
The
fall off?
raccoon did not fall.
Oh,
We have had juvenile crows fall out of their nests to their death in the building before.
We should have
that's why
known
you
how to
wear
fight
hard
better.
hats.
Yeah. Anyways,
That's
this segment of Bird Talk is brought to you by.
Oh, and also, so my friend and I took the cubicle wall out between our two cubicles.
Yeah.
It's called a super cube. So I made a t-shirt design. I haven't made t-shirts yet, but so we have a little hand signal we do. And then I put some text for FOSC for Phil order of the super cube. So it's kind of nerdy, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes. Or dorky. One of those. Just kidding.
Ninja dorks.
I know, we shouldn't
The Age of Dorky
anthropomorphize
show.
dorks on the show.
No, we shouldn't.
Our final segment is feedback. We got some Facebook shareage from Neil and Rob, so thanks, chaps. And
Governor?
I was listening to Matt and Andrew versus Society today, and they... Okay, so Matt was telling a story about how at work, he doesn't actually believe that the moon landing was fake, but he was just kind of playing devil's advocate, and his coworkers thought he didn't believe in the moon landing. And so they were like, they were talking about this study that came out that said, if there's this many people involved in a conspiracy, it can only stay secret this
Paul
long.
talked about that.
Yes.
And so that was brought up, and he said, no, I think even the astronauts thought they were on the moon. He's like, yeah, they just put them in this shuttle and then shake it around for a while.
There's a TV show that's like that.
And they get out and they think they're on the moon.
There's a generation ship that is actually just...
Yeah.
Oh.
What's the name of that?
I can't remember. I only saw until the reveal of that, and I was like, I'm not going to watch it anymore.
Anyways,
kind of lost interest.
I felt the need to tweet at them and let them know that the journey to the moon takes 3 days each direction. And I didn't tell them this, but they were saying on the show that it's 273 miles away. It's actually 273,000 miles. But
it's a little different.
Yes.
So my tweet said, it took 3 days for the astronauts to get to the moon, and Neil replied and said, or did it? Because if they didn't really go, then it didn't take 3 days. But then Mavs tweeted, must have been traffic. We can get there in like 16 hours. So,
Well, maybe if you
it's funny.
speed the whole way.
Yeah, there is.
Depends on what country you start in, right?
There is a space.
Somewhere
speed
closer
limit.
than...
Yeah, the Nepalese get there way faster than us because we're launching from sea level.
Is that what they called? Nepalese?
What do you call them, Napoleons? Napoleons?
Nepalites.
Neapolitan. Isn't that the ice cream? with
Yes.
the- oh,
Three flavors.
Chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry.
That never made sense to me.
what if you like all three flavors?
Do you scoop it
Through all
through
three.
all of them,
Yeah,
or do you? That's weird.
The best thing to do is get some bananas, cut them in half.
I don't like.
And then rub it on your belly.
No. And then you put the, scoop through the Neapolitan ice cream, and then you put chocolate syrup and pineapple chunks and.
Yeah, be told pineapple chunks.
Oh, you gotta have pineapple chunks on a banana split.
I don't even like bananas in a banana split.
Oh, never mind. I'm talking to the wrong crowd.
I like
Yeah.
only to mix my
I love banana
I
splits.
would just like
fruit with
a
my...
single flavor of ice cream at a time.
It
Sorry.
keeps you social if you have different flavors of ice cream mixed
Yeah,
in.
what if they're fraternizing?
That makes it even better.
That's how you get... Never mind.
That's how they get the little
No.
the little
Yup.
pipe size.
That's not where I was going with it, which is good. Moving on.
Oh, hey, the local frozen yogurt place has a Reaper float flavor now. I might have to go try that out. So.
Me too.
Of course, I'll be out of town this weekend.
Maybe that's what. Oh, Mom's gonna be here next week.
Yeah, so
We
maybe
should all
next
go.
end of next week when I'm back in town.
I heard if you want to contact us, you send an email to
Enginerdyshow@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. You go to facebook.com/EngineerdyShow or Twitter, we're at EngineerdyShow. You can follow us. I tweet out when the episodes come out, and I also, all of my Instagram pictures, I send them to Twitter too. So you can see what I've been up to.
And if you follow me, you can join me in wishing Randy Moss a happy birthday yearly.
Well, you'd have to tell them your Twitter handle.
A lot of people have found it even without me telling them.
Weird.
I should tweet more.
You can
Let me do it right now.
probably comment and rate the show anywhere you listen to us. We're on YouTube now if you want to see the video. And support the show by telling your friends. Thank you for listening this week. Stay nerdy.
Live long and nerdy.
You have been and always shall be, my friends.